او بل د نورستان خلک ما مخکې تاسو ته عرض وکړه چې نورستان کې زراعتي ځمکه ډېر په کم پیمانه دي نو اکثر د نورستان خلکو پیشه مالدار پیشه خلک دي د مالونو کاروبار زیات کوي نو موږ دې ورونو نه خواهش کوو چې دغه د مالدارانو سره د مالونو د مرضونو دواګانو په عرصه کې او نور کم محصولات چې لاسته راځي لکه د شیدې زیاتېدو او کم مرګ و میر چې منځته راځي د هغې تداوي لپاره دوی همکاري وکړي د خلکو سره.
And another thing about Nordistan, we have a lot of goats, animals, and we need a lot of medication for stuff like that for the animals, and we don't have that. We need all that help from the coalition forces because there's not a lot of agricultural land, and most of the people they have animals that they deal with, so most of the income comes from the animals.
Thank you very much.
تاسو نه یو جهان مننه کوم چې ما ته تاسو وخت راکړه او د یو څو مشکلاتونو په باره کې پوښتنه وکړه یو جهان مننه کوم نو خپل خبرو ته به خاتمه ورکړم.
Thanks a lot for having me and letting me speak about my place and area.
او خاص کر زمونږ ورور فورسایت نه ډېر مننه کوم چې موږ ته زمینه د ملاقات مساعد کړه او سیکمن ورور نه هم مننه کوم.
I thank you, I thank Colonel Forsyth and Major Siekman for having me come to this meeting.
Thank you very much. Salam. Okay, we've been talking with Nurguram District Sub-Governor Dr. Malrula, and now we're going to talk with Major Billy Siekman. Major Siekman is the 277 Field Artillery Battalion Operations Officer and one of the Fort Carson soldiers who was sitting here when we did the interview with Dr. Malrula, and one of the soldiers that he thanked. And so what I'd like to do is welcome you to TalkingWithHarris.com first of all, and ask if you could just start out by sharing a little bit about yourself and maybe talk a little bit about your military career too.
Yeah, I've been in the Army 14 years this May, and I've been a career field artillery soldier. My last unit was a MIT team in Iraq in 07, 08, and then I attended Air Command Staff College last year.
Okay, is this your first deployment then?
This is my first deployment to Afghanistan.
To Afghanistan. You were in Iraq?
Yes.
Okay. What year were you there?
07, 08.
Oh, okay. What unit were you with?
I was a external transition team, so I kind of moved around with 4 or 5 different units.
Okay. I was over there in August, September with 2BCT in Baghdad. Yeah. Major Ryan?
I was in Baghdad, but not with 2BCT.
Not with 2BCT. Okay. Okay, so now you've been over here about almost 11 months now, right?
Yes.
And initially you were here. Now some of the 4th BCT has moved over to another area. So if you could just kind of go back in the beginning when you first got here, talk about what things were like here, and then talk about the progress you've seen.
In AO Steel that we're responsible for is the only thing I can really speak of. The development and governance and getting the development leaders to assume responsibility for their districts, for the actions, for security has been our biggest push, and to separate the enemy from the populace has been our strategy throughout our year here. As of recently, with changes in personnel of local leaders, we finally feel like we got the local populace separated from the enemy. We have competent, reliable leaders in at the district level, to include the police chiefs. And now we have an A&A company that we partner with that has been very good for security.
Okay, and then can you talk about some of the projects that you've been working on here? Or is your focus more really just security?
Up until about a month ago, we did some projects, but we try to focus smaller scale instead of large roads, buildings. We didn't do a lot of that stuff because that's not where our expertise is at. So we focused on community self-help projects, retaining walls, mosque refurbishments, school windows, and our biggest one that we take pride in is developing agricultural, long-term economic projects that could lead to economic development for the AO with greenhouses so that they can grow fruits, produce, sell to the local markets for about a third of the cost that they're going to import it from Pakistan. It helps the farmers, it helps the local villagers, and then we can put that money back into the villages for their own village funding for their own projects.
So this has been one of your big projects then over the time you've been here?
Yeah, we started about 4 months ago when we came to the realization that our community projects were good, but they had no lasting long-term economic effect, and that's what we wanted to get to, was something that could be a long-term effect after we leave.
Building independence.
Yes,
So hopefully we don't have to come back over and over again.
hopefully.
Exactly. Okay. What else about your mission would you like to share? Maybe talk about the troops you have served with that you're leading, because obviously they've done a great job here.
They have. The nice thing about the American soldier is going to do whatever he's asked, whenever he's asked, and he's going to make sure he accomplishes the mission, no matter what it puts him through. With it being 130-degree heat in the summertime, walking up hills 3,000, 4,000 feet, carrying 80 pounds of equipment, he's going to do it because that's what we as the senior leaders of the battalion have asked him to do, and they're going to do it well. Not being with this unit when they were doing their train up and joining them in country, I was impressed at the discipline of the soldiers and their ability to accomplish basically any mission that they've been given in this rough, rugged terrain.
And some of the time here has been rough because you've lost soldiers, you've had soldiers wounded. I know one of the soldiers, his mom, messages me a lot on Facebook, emails me. Sergeant Rayo?
Elijah Rayo.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about him? Because I know his mom's listening or be watching this.
Sergeant Rayo was the quality soldier that you always have in your unit, that you have by your side. For the Nightmare Platoon, he was the right person to sit in every key leader engagement, take the notes, make sure Lieutenant Great stayed straight, to bring those notes back to me and my staff so we could process what he brought us to prepare for future operations. So he was a consummate professional, never complained, and he gave his life for his country, doing what he loved to do.
And you have a big picture of him up in the DFAC. I know I'm not supposed to take pictures in there, but it would be nice if I could just take that one picture, you think?
I don't think that would be a problem for
Okay,
that.
great. I'd like to do that and put it on the web page. Okay. What about support from back home through this deployment? Talk about that. Care packages, letters, maybe letters from children, cards.
We've had it all, from care packages from churches, from schools, from the Family Readiness Group, VFW, our Field Artillery Association. It's been there. It's been well. Soldiers look forward to the packages. My family is not at Fort Carson. They're back in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I've received care packages from VFWs there. We've got them from people in Pennsylvania. So we get them all over the country every single day of the year.
And that means a lot, doesn't it?
It does. That's what lifts a soldier's morale. Even if it says any soldier on it, if we pass out to a soldier, he doesn't care if it has his name or not. It's a care package from somebody in the United States that he gets to open.
Right. What would you like to say to the American people to continue supporting the mission? Like, you're going home, but there's replacement soldiers that'll be here.
To the American people, I'd have to say is have faith and confidence that your soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines are working hard to make Afghan a better place, to make sure that the government is viable and the security forces are confident to take over, so that they can stand on their own 2 feet and we don't have to come back.
Absolutely. Would you like to give a shout out to some family and friends back home? Just look in the camera and go ahead.
Well, all my family is in Cincinnati, Ohio. My wife, Christy, and my 2 boys, Colin and Gavin. We're in full swing in soccer season, and I'm just hurt that I can't be there to join them.
Well, you'll be there real soon, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much, Major Siekman. You're obviously doing a great job, and the videos we're getting here are showing that to the American people.
All right,
So I
Bob.
appreciate that, and thank you for your service.
All right, thank you.
Well, once again, now I'm in front of the camera. This is Bob Calvert, your host at TalkingWithHeroes.com, and we've just had some incredible interviews and footage that's taking place here in Afghanistan, and a lot more coming, and I want to say, first of all, thank you to the people that made this trip possible. And I want to read their names. I just think it's really important. I encourage everybody, when you get a chance, go on the internet, check out their websites, maybe send them an email and thank them for helping so we could be here, so our troops could share their progress stories back with all of America. Rob Brazell in Colorado, Boulder, returntowork.org, blackhawk.com, Anthony Pace of freedomhunters.org, also in Colorado, Alan Gray with newsblaze.com, Bill Wisniewski out there at Fort Benning, does all the filming for airborne there activities with number 5, jump.com, and Sportsman's Warehouse in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Manager John Fly, appreciate your help right there at the end as we're getting ready to come over with some needed items. Sportsmanswarehouse.com. My good friend Eric Chia for over 30 years in Olathe, Kansas. And Colin Clark in Elizabeth, Colorado. We'll be hearing a lot more about him over the months on Talking with Heroes. And Debbie Gregory with militaryconnection.com, soldiersangels.org, Patty Bader, what a great organization. And then Chief Warrant Officer retired Dennis McCormack. And in Colorado Springs, helped start the Homefront Cares there, and with many, many organizations in Colorado Springs. There's so many wonderful people there, as there are in many cities across the country. Therefore, our troops and the families. And so I want to thank you all, and please help us get these videos out to people. Be the media. Help the media. So millions of Americans can watch and just see what people are saying back here, including, as you've seen now, leadership in the Afghan community. So I want to thank you all for watching another program here from Afghanistan. And I am Bob Calvert, your host. And we'll have more from Afghanistan on TalkingWithHeroes.com. Thank you, and God bless America.